We got 2 games for you on Thursday, trusting the process, visiting the Pacers, and then the Lakers and Russell Westbrook and PG-13. 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Coverage starts at 6:30 with the game time. That's us on NBA TV. Now, you notice I didn't say LeBron because he will not be playing. LeBron James out for at least 2 more games. However, he has been cleared to return to practice next week. Since injuring his groin, the Lakers have gone 4-7 in 11 games without him. Their next 2 are on the road at OKC, which is on our network, and at Houston. And Rich Paul, his agent, weighed in today, reading, quote, "We don't give a bleep what anyone, what nobody thinks or says. We're going to do what's best for him. The best case scenario was 3 weeks. The worst case was 6 weeks. And we're right on schedule," end quote. Rich Paul drops the mic and walks off. Number one, how often do agents put out statements like this for their players speaking for them as a spokesperson? How often do you see this in the NBA or any professional sport?
It's unique.
Happens.
Yeah, I mean,
Does it seem unusual or am I tripping?
No, I think it's unique in LeBron's case because we're so
Yes.
used to hearing directly from LeBron James. But I would sense that the rancor about where's LeBron rescue this season, as it cranks up, there are going to be instances where somebody has to say something. I think this might have been Rich Paul just kind of want to set the record straight. I think it makes a lot of sense, too, Fish. If there was an internal understanding of what the timeline would be for LeBron, there's no amount of outside pressure or social media that's going to accelerate it. I mean, this is a guy who has never really been sidelined in this way, so why would you rush at this stage of the career? It would be foolish.
Yeah, it makes no sense. I think he's spot on. Whether we typically hear from Rich or not, it makes sense. He's LeBron's agent. His job description is to do what's best for LeBron. So what he says makes sense, and I agree in terms of the timing. I think everyone's just kind of clamoring for something because LeBron hasn't really spoken. Obviously, the Lakers are being cautious. They're not saying much other than he'll be reevaluated at the proper times. And so it's more noise than anything. With a significant groin injury, to 2 or 3 weeks later to be wondering why he's not back tonight, it doesn't really compute for me. So I say continue to take your time and do what you need to do.
All players are different. We saw Steph Curry have a similar injury. He missed 11 games earlier in the season. Steph, of course, a little bit younger than LeBron. But taking it onto the basketball court, how urgent is it for a player of LeBron's stature, who's obviously the best player in the league, the most important player on their franchise, for him to get back, seeing how they've slid from a top 4 seed now down to teetering to maybe being a lottery team?
Well, it's important for him to get back as soon as possible, but that has to be done in the right way. Steph Curry's injury probably was a different type of injury. LeBron's play was an awkward play and looked to put much more severe strain on the groin area than the play we saw from Steph Curry's injury. Getting LeBron back is paramount, but remember, this is month 4 of year 1. So if you want the LeBron James for the next 3.5 seasons to play at the MVP type level that he's capable of and showing no signs of really slowing down, then it is paramount to be patient right now. A few weeks now saves you a few years later, and that's what they need to do with this young man.
Well, it seems like you definitely want to take that into consideration, but let's not forget LeBron's not getting any younger. We all know Father Time's undefeated, so while you still want to manage that injury, you still want to make sure you don't lose an opportunity. This is a team that was right there close to the 2 seed earlier in the season.
But that was early in this season. There was also a situation where, did we really think the Lakers were a top 2 or 3 team in the Western Conference right now? So what they're doing is exposing themselves for what we knew them to be without LeBron James. A team that would be maybe battling for one of those final spots in the playoff mix. The bigger pressure to me on the Lakers is actually external. You got now a Utah team with a very favorable schedule coming up, throughout this entire second half of the season, and they're playing better. So now if you're the Lakers, you're not just playing for the internal expectations. Now you got to worry about the real estate around you and who is climbing, who's coming up after you chasing that playoff spot that you've been sitting in. That's where I think the pressure, not on LeBron or anybody else, but just on the organization itself, weighs heavier than it might have otherwise. Look at what the Jazz, the Kings, and really the Timberwolves and Pelicans are kind of out there, but not a threat right now the way that the Jazz are, clear and present. And then the Kings, if they get on a roll, then that's another team you got to worry about. What you got to have, if you're the Lakers, is LeBron back healthy and drama-free down the stretch run of the season. If it takes 2 or 3 more games, 4 games, whatever it is, you weigh that out and allow LeBron the time he needs to get healthy.
We talked about this off cam, but showing the signs of panic is when you look at Magic and Rob Pelinka and those guys. And Derek, I'll direct this question directly to you since you're familiar with the inner workings of that organization. Is there a situation where they make a knee-jerk reaction and make a move even though they're still waiting on LeBron just to try to maintain staying afloat in the Western Conference playoff standings?
I don't get the sense that that's what the feelings are. I think the thoughts lead more towards the future than right now. I believe the move to add LeBron James this year, or the decision that he made to come to LA, was really about what they're going to build this year into next year and really positioning themselves to be a destination for another top free agent or another top player via trade. Mm-hmm. And I think they've done a lot of that work. I do think that there are other players around the league that at the right time, and if things fit together, they will be willing to join LeBron in LA. And I think that's on track. And so I'm not sure if there's any huge move they would make in terms of LeBron being in or out. I think that move will be made either way.
The only potential wrinkle in this entire timeline, of course, is the trade deadline. If somebody is desperate at the trade deadline to make a move or to do something, and the Lakers are on that phone, then all bets are off. We don't know what might happen. But I think that would be the case whether LeBron is in uniform
Correct.
or not.
That's what I agree with.
Having the trade deadline on the schedule the way we do before All-Star Weekend changes the dynamic, changes everybody's metric on how you approach it. That's the only, to me, if the Lakers get past the deadline, Fish, why would you do anything to upset what you potentially have going on this summer? You ride this season out no matter what, no matter who's healthy, let chips fall where they will, and continue with your long-term plan to build this organization back up to the point where it can be a contender for years to come.
The NBA trade line coming up 2 weeks from tomorrow, so make sure you keep it locked right here on NBA TV, where we have all the latest updates on all the latest trade news. Luka Doncic, leading candidate for Rookie of the Year. We're going to talk to Jeff Skin Wade, who has all the insight on what's going on in Dallas. More Game Time coming up.
It's your boy 3D. We're here for another Players Only. Here with Coach Saunders. And Coach, appreciate you spending a little time with me. First of all, what comes to mind to me is I've been around you for a while. You love this game of basketball. When you got the phone call you were taking over as coach, what went through your mind?
It was definitely a shock in terms of just being unexpected. And then a lot of things go through your mind. Being quite frank, first thing was that I needed to speak to my mother and my wife, and some other people, just to, I want to make educated decisions on things. But then when things settled down and everything kind of came together, then you kind of realize, this is a great opportunity.
I believe you have this personality with the way the new NBA is to speak to the young stars today. How was that first conversation with Wiggs and Cat saying, hey guys, I'm the new voice, I need you guys to play like all-stars?
I mean, just kind of like that. And it's, I'd like to think it's not going to come from me, it's going to come from within themselves. And I'm big, I learned from my father, I learned from a number of great people in terms of that players are the ones that you put them in positions where they can both have freedom, succeed, but also have structure with things, and then it's up to them ultimately.
Let's get to it. 452 twists. There's so many options to that play. What made you go to it, and what gave you the confidence to call it?
Well, it was really one of those things that I was sitting in my room, hadn't had a lot of sleep at that point. I was sitting in my room at Oklahoma City, and I knew in walkthrough I wanted to put our first play in, and I was trying to think what would be the best thing to go to, and 452 twist kept coming to my mind, and only for the simple fact of you only get one first play coaching in the NBA, and for me to give a silent ode, I didn't tell anybody or anything, but a silent ode to my father, my late father, meant a lot to me.
And we were just sharing off camera that you were playing against New Orleans.
Yeah,
the other
yeah.
night. And take me that little secret.
Yeah, actually, Alvin Gentry ran 452 twists for Anthony Davis for the first play, and they ended up scoring, and they scored on it again. And he looked down and gave me a thumbs up and a big smile, and patted his heart, and so that was a nice moment from him.
Being around guys like C. Webb and Kevin Garnett, how does that help you for the job?
Just that right there, just being around those types of people and those types of players and how they prepare and their professionalism. That is what has prepared me for this. So I give a ton of credit to those guys. And you, I remember I was a little guy when you were in Minnesota for a little bit, hitting threes.
Yes.
So yeah,
appreciate you, man.
Definitely.
All right, good luck, rest of the way.
Thank you.
I was going to make an announcement that Ryan Saunders looks just like Skeets from the starters over there, but I'm not going to. I'm not going, oh, we got Wes Will, let's stop it. All right, bam, what we got today for the Will? I can't read it. Locker room talk. Well, hey guys, when I was in college, you know how when you go to the Final Four and things like that, or big games, they bring a local hero to talk to you. And for us, it was Isaiah Thomas. I mean, imagine this in college. I'm 18 years old. I literally broke like a pane glass. I was just so hyped that he came in and he would talk to us and share it. And I want to go out to our point guard, Zeke. What up, Brendan Haywood? We can get to you in a second, my brother. But I want to go out to Zeke. Now, Zeke, you're one of the smallest men ever to play in the NBA and have such a dominating career. They call you a little point guard. What the hell were you doing in the New Orleans Saints locker room inspiring all those big guys? First of all, tell me what you told them, and then tell me how you got to that after. But what did you say to the guys in the locker room? Come on, man.
Well, I just talked about championship play.
No. Tell us like you told them, Zeke. Tell us like you told them in the locker room, Zeke.
I told them that the three most important things that champions need to play with is what I call ice, and that is intensity, concentration, and energy. And how long can you sustain concentration? And most people can't concentrate for 2.5 hours in a game. And if you can sustain concentration and put energy and intensity into that concentration along with your skill and game plan, then you got a chance to win. And you saw they fell behind, but they were able to concentrate. And, we just talked about, the relationship that Mike Ornstein and I have and Coach Sean Payton and I have, and how we talked about how you become leaders. And the greatest leaders of all time, whether it be Jesus Christ, Buddha, Muhammad, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Mother Teresa, they were all servants. They were servants to men. And how do you be a servant to your teammate? You get the best out of your teammate by helping him achieve. You get the best out of your teammate by helping him succeed. And we watched Mike Ornstein lay in a coma for 20 days, and he got up, and now he's back. So they gave us the game ball. Coach Payton gave Mike Ornstein a game ball, gave myself one game ball, and he gave Mrs. Benson, the owner, the other game ball. So we were happy to be a part of the Saints win the other day.
Zeke, I mean, I'm going to call Chico in here doing the commercial and dunk on him because you got me hyped right now. And we got a little bit of tape from you in that locker room, man. And, y'all think Zeke is calm and cool, and which he is, but this is how he gets locker rooms hyped. That's right. This is a pro locker room. Zeke, congratulations. It's so great because you've inspired so many of us. It's great to see that transfer across all type of genres, all type of sports. And I just thought that was really cool that one of the best, if not the best, small point guard in the game was in there inspiring thousands of pounds of big football players.
Tens of thousands of pounds.
Yeah, right. Tens of thousands of pounds. And, Brendan, we want to welcome you to the desk tonight. Now, I know you played 14 years in this league, but you know how they do it, brother. You did your thing in Dallas. You did your thing in D.C. for the Wizard, but I got a question. What's up with your Cavs this year? What's the problem with y'all?
Oh, why did my Cavs?
Because you played there 1 year.
I played there 1 year. I didn't even get to play. See,
14 years.
I watched LeBron play for 1 year.
Tell us how you really feel. No, guys, we're looking forward to hearing the call from you. I love hearing from you, Brandon B. I love hearing from you. College game, can't wait for that to come up and enjoy you being here with us tonight. But we'll be a little bit back. We'll be back with y'all in a little bit. Chico, get in here so I can dunk on you out there. Got me hyped ice, baby. People can't concentrate longer than 2.5 hours in the game, but that man can. He knows a little something about ice. Joel Embiid, the big man. In the words of Kevin McHale, he said, look, I'd ask the team to come over here and I'd say, look, fellas, he's the man. And there it is. Breaking news, John. Breaking news. That's right. Sean Saunders is the brother of our man Skeets. He'll be on the starters next week. We'll be back, baby.